Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Waffles RC. As you saw from the title, we're still working on the RV, so let's just get right to work. No jibber jabber. So, along with going RVing and boating, because this is going to be the tow vehicle for the boat, not the mud truck anymore, you also want to do other things other than just go boating. So, what else do you want to do? Go dirt biking. That's right. Got a $20 little motorcycle. It's almost proper to scale. Don't really care that much. It looks funny. So what we are going to do is make a swing gate for this to mount onto the back of this. So let's get started. So we have our motorcycle. We have this that I already marked for the tires to sit into. Then I will zip tie it to it because I can. Now, there's obviously one major concern. It is the slide. We need to be able to get the slide out, but the motorcycle will be in the way, as you can see. So, going to make this on a swing gate that will swing out like that and hopefully out of the way. Let's see what weird things I can create. I also have to make sure that there's room for my brake lights, which haven't showed up, even though I ordered them a week ago. But hopefully they'll be here today. Let me make this real quick and I'll show you what I did. And there you have it. Here is a dirt bike mounted onto the back. Now, obviously, it's in the way of the slider. So we just swing our dirt bike out and bring our slider out. So see, everything clears very nicely. I just drilled a hole through the top of the bumper, put a lock nut underneath there, a screw. So when that's in, we just come back here. I have to drill another hole on this one just to put a little pin basically, and that will hold that in place with room to still connect our boat, because important, gotta still be able to tow and connect the boat. So thanks to my wife for giving me the idea of doing a swing gate. I might put some other stuff on there, not entirely sure, but the motorcycle is pretty cool. I mean, come on now. And I'll still have some visibility for the brake lights whenever they get here. And I'll have to paint all this, but it comes off. So now, see how it just fell off? That's why I need the pin. So now we will, no bumper. Now, let's cut a hole in this and make a door so I can put a battery in here and then a battery tray underneath this as well. We'll take this off and do a battery tray. I took the bolts out so it comes off pretty easily. All right, so the thought process is cut out a door to make it a door, obviously. And then down here, along the side of this frame rail, we will put a tray for a battery. So that way the battery will live on this side, counteracting the weight of that stuff, making the sway bar not have to work as hard. Possibly. Gonna find out about that pretty shortly here. Let's cut a door. All right, so here is all that I did. I cut a piece of cardboard out that looked about right. I traced it on to the metal. So now I'm going to cut on the inside of this line. Another benefit of this is that because when you cut, you're going to have the thickness of the cutoff wheel missing from all four sides. But what this gives me is a similar template for the new piece of metal that I can then trace out and cut out on the lines, giving me the exact size that I need for right there. So hopefully that helps some of you if you're doing this kind of sheet metal work for an RC car. It also works on bigger vehicles, so it's a kind of a win-win if you're doing big car stuff or little car stuff. So let's get to cutting and see what we can make of this. And here is a door. I even put a fancy little handle on it. I may even take that sticker off, who knows. I also added that little tab right there and that one right there, so I can put magnets on the back sides of these, and when you close it, the magnets will hold the door shut. So, because right now it's just kind of floppy, but does the job. So now that we have our door opening, we can see all of our stuff in there too. Well, I can, you can't. But now we have to get it onto that over there and make a holder for our battery. I've actually really grown to like these little batteries. They last a decently long time. They are still 3S, so they can handle the power. And they're nice and small compared to my bigger ones. Yes, they don't last as long as the big ones, but I just get more of these for the same price. I can usually get about 2 or 3 of these for the same price as the other ones. I really like them. I'll put a link down in the description so you guys can check them out if you want. But I think if we just put a little tray right there, have our plug, just going to sit right there. I'm not going to have an interior, so I'm not overly concerned about it. And it keeps it away from the tire. Electronics, I have plans for the electronics. I'm going to make a little tray inside of the frame back here for the light kit, the ESC, hopefully. I mean, the motor's way up here and it's 2-in-1, so I may have to extend some wires. We'll see. But just going to make a very simple tray. Now, what metal should I use? Because sheet metal is not going to quite be substantial enough. Not for me to weld it, at least. I could use that. Yep, I'll do that. All right. Let's get to making a battery tray. Just like that, we open the door. There's our battery tray. Not going to keep it in there very long because it's still a little warm, but you just plop a battery there, bam, battery. So that's it. Now I know it's easy for me to say things like this, but sometimes just keeping it simple is the easiest way to go. To me, that was just cut out the piece of metal, fold up the end so that way the battery stays in there, and weld it to the frame. It really is just a simple solution. This thing's not going to be going crazy. This battery's not going to be going all over the place. And worst come to worst, I can put a piece of Velcro on there if I really need to, depending on how crazy we get while towing a 20-pound boat. So, needless to say, this one's going to take it a little easier than the other ones. And of course, after doing all this, I realize also, kind of wanted to tow crawlers now too. So looks like I'll be making another trailer. I think I could probably do a two-car ball hitch trailer. I think that's doable. Maybe a little long, but I don't know. We'll get to that when we get to that. That's focus on this. So now let's move on to front bumper. I can't really get you any lower, but so the RC four-wheel drive body, I opted for this grill. I liked the look of this one better. Now it does have a plastic bumper that comes with it, but the issue that I'm having is somebody decided to put quite large tires on here. So these very fancy fender flares don't really fit. Actually, you know what? I should probably get that stock bumper out and look at it first. before I just go straight to welding a whole nother bumper on this thing and cutting it apart. I don't want to destroy this body because this is a very cool, very nice body. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I have the chrome bits for this body from RC 4-wheel drive, if you couldn't tell. I think what I should do is cut this bumper off, kind of put it on there and see what it looks like. See if I can just get away with just cutting a few things. I don't want to cut too much of this, but sometimes cutting is necessary. I would really like to keep the factory bumper if I'm able to, just because it kind of completes the look a little bit. What am I doing? I'm test fitting. You don't need to make it pretty yet. I mean, that certainly would look good, because I like the look of that. I could run the stock turn signals. I think this might be the way to go, honestly. Just do a cut on the fender. I mean, it does pose the question of how am I going to get more weight on the front of this, but I can bolt some stuff underneath there. But that just looks so cool. I could trim out all of this, kind of give it that raised look. Yep, I'm going to do that. I'm going to stick with this. If I need more weight, I'll put weights underneath here, aka I'll just weld a bunch of metal under there. I did it to my original tow truck, which is now just the service truck, and also the original hauler. That one has a bunch of weight welded into the front of it just to get more weight on the nose. But I like the look of this, so we are going to do some trimming gently, hopefully. Get enough to clear our tires. Yeah, just need enough to clear the tires. Let's do that. Of course it fell off as soon as I turned the camera on. That is the look I was going for on this thing. I was going to build a full metal bumper and make it look like the Warren bumper, because I do like the look of it, but at the same time, I also really like the classic look. Obviously, cut the valance off and drop the bumper. So obviously there's still some work to do. This was the vision that I had the whole time, was to run this bumper. There'll still be some extra trimming, as you saw, that I did on the fenders, just to clear the tires for the ride height that I chose, and the size tires that I chose, which are 4.19. So they're not even big tires, essentially. But I didn't want to cut the whole fender out. I was trying to keep the classic look of the truck itself. So that's good. Now to the final piece of fabrication. I'm done with this fabbing stuff. Actually, I'm not. I love doing it, so I'll fab the whole thing, honestly. But the last piece that I need to do for this one before I can then get started on body work, which I am not looking forward to, and am thoroughly enjoying procrastinating having to do it. So let's put that in a spot where I won't drop it again. So back here in the cavernous area, I just want to put a piece of sheet metal in between the frame rail, so that way our light kit, which is super duper cheap, but it works. 79 and the Mercedes have this light kit. It works. Does it have turn signals and stuff like that? No. Do I want it to? Also, no. So that will be good enough, but I need a place to mount it. So I have to put it here, which means I need to make a little tray for that and other electronics, the ESC. Oh wait, no, the ESC is built into the motor, so I don't have to worry about that, but we also need a power switch. I just want to put the electronics right in here because trying to get stuff underneath the cab, I don't feel like taking the whole thing apart just to get to the electronics. 4 bolts and the RV body comes off and you're left with this. Here's all your electronics. So that's what I'm going to do. So let me just make a quick little tray and you'll see it right now. Now I don't know if that came out right. The editor will tell me right here, which I'm the editor. But anyhow, I like doing those types of transitions. I just am not very good at it. I did my best this time. I didn't move this. I didn't move that. Like, I tried to not move anything. So I don't know how well that turned out. But long story short, there's a little piece of metal in there. And I was smart this time. I did not weld it in. I drilled holes through the frame, drilled holes through the plate. So if I ever need to take the electronics out of this to fix something or whatever, I can unbolt this and take it out. As opposed to all the other ones that I've made, yeah, I didn't do that. I just fully welded them in and can't do anything about it. To me, this hobby is all about learning new things, learning new tricks, learning new techniques. This is something that I decided to try, and hopefully it pays off. I believe that is that for this, because now, realistically, I have to do body work. Not looking forward to that. Basically, just a bunch of Bondo on the RV body. Let me go watch some pole barn videos, and I'll see how I can do body work. I really don't know how this is going to turn out. So full disclaimer, this is not a how to do body work on anything. I have no idea what I'm doing. There's no instructions on this stuff. All I'm going off of is literally Pole Barn Garage. Go watch him, because that's what I've done. I have no idea what that does or why it looks like that. And you get a screwdriver I don't care about. Whatever I do here, we're all going to learn together what it's going to do, because I have no idea. I'm kind of hoping that it works, but hey, you never know how to do something until you try it a couple of times. I think this is my second time ever using body filler. So let's see how much we can mess this up, shall we? Put a blob of that, something like that, maybe. Cool. Just leave you right there. Now, hardener. Okie dokie. Once again, came with no instructions. Don't know what that's going to do, if it'll do anything. If anybody in here is watching this and you do body work and you are laughing and or screaming, I would say I'm sorry. But I'm not. Because I'm sure at one time you had to experiment as well. Everybody has to experiment. So this is me experimenting and hoping that I do something correct, or that this turns out even halfway decent. Avert thy eyes if you care, because it didn't look right to me. So hopefully I don't have to make a whole new RV body, because that would be quite sad. All right. So I figured that the smartest spot to start would be the most obvious, and that would be the roof. So let's go. do remember him saying, always go the same direction, but that could have been with the fiberglass stuff or the short strand fiberglass body filler. I don't know. Not good at paying attention sometimes. And yes, I do know it's a lot of body filler, and there's going to be a lot of sanding. This I am completely aware of, and I am prepared for it. But if I can make this look halfway decent, I'll be quite happy. And another cringy moment for anybody who cares. We need more there. Trying to get the roof flat, so that's what this is all about, because the roof warped quite a bit. All right, I know this is boring, so I'll bring it back once I have something that resembles a result. Okay, well, there's that. I also did the slides, just trying to smooth them out, make them look a little bit nicer. Did the face on both of them and made a gigantic mess. But luckily it's all on that plexiglass, so it doesn't matter. Now, once again, is this perfect? No. Is it even correct? I mean, we'll find out. I'd still have to sand it. One thing that I did learn about body filler is you lay it on thick because you're going to sand most of it away. So, except for on the top of the camper body, that's going to be about what it is because it's very wavy. But I want it to be as flat as possible. But that requires this stuff to dry so that I can sand it. And it's towards the end of the day. So I guess we will come back tomorrow and try and get some of this sanded, see if we can make it look right. I didn't do anything on the sides or the back. So realistically, I don't know how this is going to turn out, and I'll let you know tomorrow if it works the way that I think that it will. I'll watch some more pole barn videos and see if I did it correctly, but for the most part, just looking at it, and the roof is flatter. I wouldn't want to say that it's perfectly flat, but it's flatter. The front will still need some work, as you can see there. If you don't know how to do something, just try it. And if it doesn't turn out right, figure out what you did wrong. Correct your mistake, and then move on to the next bit. And this is the reality of experimenting. Like I said, I'm going to quit rambling. I'll see you guys tomorrow when I try to sand this and make it look halfway decent. Okay, so it's the next day. And remember how I said I was not good at this? And for you, it was just a few seconds ago. For me, it was yesterday. And I'm realizing I'm not good at this. So what happened was I thought I put enough hardener in the body filler just to find out I did not. So I just had to grind off all the soft stuff from yesterday, and I am currently now mixing up what's left with, I think, the right amount of hardener. You know what? It's the last of it, so why not add some more? Actually try and make this, harden up. It's all about experimenting. So I will lay this down, try to get the top of the RV done again. To me, that's more important, and I'll have to buy some more body filler. So that way I have enough to do to do all the parts that I needed to do. Right now, I'm hoping that this is even going to be enough to do the top of the RV. So, lesson learned, use hardener. And don't use plexiglass with plastic on it, because it then has a chemical reaction and doesn't work in your favor. Because I didn't realize that there was still plastic on this side. Good job, Mike. Good job. To say the least, I'm a little flustered right now. So let's get this on and we'll see what happens. It already feels like it's getting harder. So I need to get this on. Alright guys, you joined me here at work. Sorry about the sound. I don't have anything with me other than, well, the camera. So at the end of that last shot, I started having issues. I did not do anything correctly. I added too much hardener and it hardened up immediately, so I couldn't put any on. Then I put a bunch on and I thought that I had it done correctly, and it didn't seem like it was working out. And so basically, mentally, I gave up on it, and I was not happy with how the RV had turned out. And I was scared, honestly, that I messed it up. I'm happy to say that I did some experimenting, not on it, with the body filler, since I had never used it. So I did some experimenting and I got it to work. I was able to sand it down. I got a second coat on here, still drying. This is the RV body. It is not done, obviously. Still have a lot of sanding to do, yet still on it. Then I gotta prime it, then I gotta paint it. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and say sometimes these things will get the better of you when you're trying something new. I will also say, when it comes to body filler, practice on something else that's not so important and required to be done in 2 weeks. That's my little bit of advice. I had previously filmed a very dejected Mike when it came to what had happened with the body, but I am here to say that I stuck through it. I tried some things, I sanded it out, and I was able to get it to work. So sometimes stuff gets hard and it looks like it's not going to work out in your favor, but you just got to push through. So that's my little bit of advice, but that is the end of this video. I have to be quick about it because I'm on lunch. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for subscribing. If you'd like to get some merch, you can check it out right here. It'd be greatly appreciated so that I can buy more body filler and attempt to practice some more, not on anything like that. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week when this thing is done. I hope.